you're overstimulated, if we're going to be honest. And that's the reason why it feels like it's a new year, but it doesn't feel like a new you. And we live in a society that really glorifies and glamorizes the overconsumption of information. We wake up to a new feed, a new storyline. We are inundated with new thoughts, new ideas, breaking news. It's a lot to take in. And so my hope is that this video will help you understand the process on how to declutter your mind due to overstimulation. Now, I just want to bring about a practical example or a practical foundation that maybe you can relate to. But I also want to thank you for joining me on this video. And I am Demi, and I appreciate you being here. I do not believe that anything happens by coincidence. So if you clicked on this video, then that means that there's something here that you can take away from this video. There's something here that resonates with you. And I hope that it is something that can support you on your journey. But back to the overstimulation. I've noticed throughout my studies of reading foundational scripture and text, specifically the Bible, that anytime God wanted to speak to someone, he always placed them in a space of isolation. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you've ever read the Bible, or if you know any figures or characters from the Bible, you notice that every time that God has to speak to them, and they are appointed with a specific task, there's a space of isolation that happens. It went from Jesus to Moses to Joseph to Gideon to David. The list goes on with an isolation period where God can get your attention in order for him to speak to you. And so if you find that you've walked into a new year and you find that your mind is just simply overstimulated, there's too much information being consumed, you're waking up to breaking news, new headlines, there's dopamine hits followed by intense crash outs. It points to the reason why overstimulation is now disturbing the equilibrium that we all should have and resonate with on the inside of us. But the way we declutter our mind is simply by doing what? Detaching. And so when I reference the characters in the Bible and the people in the Bible that God always spoke to in a profound way, there was always a time and a space for isolation. And so if you find that your mind is cluttered, if you find like your mind is overwhelmingly stimulated by too much, too often, too frequently, then it is time for a decluttering. And so we make the mistake of assuming that just because a new year has entered, that it automatically means that there's going to be a new us. But I think the older we get, we understand that just because there's a new you or a new year, they don't always go hand in hand. Sometimes there isn't a new you because you've crossed over into the old stinking thinking from previous years, and then you're implementing the same mind, the same beliefs, the same thought process, the same ideas from previous. And so new year does not equal new you, and it's important that we make that distinction. And in order for us to actually adopt a new identity or a new way of doing things or a new reality into a new year, it's important that we declutter our mind. And in real time, the isolation comes from detaching, completely detaching. And if that means that you are not using your phone regularly, if it means that you are not consuming the same amount of information that you would on a regular basis, if it means that you are eliminating certain people from your circle because there's just too much information or too many opinions and too many ideas, if it means switching careers, if it means detaching from a certain identity, whatever that means for you, it's important that you start at that reset place to declutter your mind. The overstimulation is what creates additional confusion, and it's what causes us to just sort of be in a space of scattered energy. And we know that wherever energy goes, that's where our attention will flow. And so if your mind is in a space of scattered energy where too much is happening too often, too soon, then you can't ground yourself in the principles or the practical day-to-day things that you need to do to advance and uplift and expand your life. And so let's start with the decluttering process, where we simply detach from the things that are not serving our greatest and highest good. Now, what could that look like for you? That could look like not using your phone for several hours. It might be putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. It can also mean getting quiet and still in the morning, because the morning time usually sets the tone for how we spend the rest of our days. It can look like not going out to that function and not being attached to things that are taking and pulling away from our attention. It simply means decluttering, exactly what that means. Declutter from the daily associations that you feel like you have to keep up with in order to genuinely and accurately and authentically expand your life. Again, when I make the reference point on how biblical figures have always broken away from the pack in order to hear soundly from God, in order to figure out what the next move is. And I don't believe that you can hear God clearly with a cluttered mind. So it's important to detach and isolate, not in a space of I don't need anyone, not in a space of no one serves me and I'm okay doing it by myself. No, but from a space of I came into this world by myself. And in order for certain things to move, it's going to be up to me. In order for certain things to expand, it's going to be up to me. Of course, with the help of God. Some of people might pray, might meditate, might seek counseling and therapy. That's okay. But what I'm saying is there is a need for an isolation, a sacred isolation, in order for you to declutter your mind. So again, the examples are probably not using your phone, probably spending an evening just in silence, just journaling, writing down things that come to your mind. And when you sit with those thought process, you begin to realize that there are things coming to your mind that you've always given consent to that have not been for your greatest and highest good. So maybe you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, and there's a thought process that comes with that. Maybe you don't like the job that you go to, and there's a thought process associated with that. Maybe there is a specific goal you have, and you notice that the goal is over here and your starting place is here. There's a thought process that goes with that. And so you want to examine those thoughts and begin to say, is this edifying me? Is this really showing me the person that I want to be? Is this adding to my greatness, or is it creating less confidence on the inside of me? Is this thought propelling me to be courageous, or is this thought stifling me? We have to begin to gather our thoughts, declutter our mind, and hear clearly. And the only way we do that is by detaching ourselves and also going through a period of isolation that can give us clarity. It doesn't mean staying there. It doesn't mean creating stagnation or even procrastination. It just simply means getting clear and hearing clearly. So I encourage you to, one, be proud of yourself for all that you've done that have led you to this point. I encourage you to constantly encourage your spirit and to trust that you are on your sacred journey. And that looks different for every single one, every single person, including yourself. So we're not going to compare, and we're not going to feel or assume or believe that we're somehow not where we're supposed to be. But you don't get to pass the test or move on to the next level unless you pass the test. And sometimes the test is our thoughts. Sometimes it's the overcrowdedness of our thoughts and our minds. And sometimes we just need a space of decluttering. So I know it's a new year, and there's an exciting, invigorating energy that comes with that. But it's not enough for it to be a new year with old mindsets, old thoughts, and old belief. It is important that we associate a new year with a way for us to sort of till the soil and plant the seeds that we desire so that we can see them spring forth. Right now, you can still be in the incubation season. Right now, you can still be in the season of sort of processing and evaluating and creating systems and foundations that will benefit your greatest and highest good. But you're just simply overstimulated right now. There's too much information, there's too much going on, and it's okay to detach, go into a space of isolation, get clear in your thoughts, journal, come off of social media for a bit, put the phone down for 24 hours, go take a walk in nature, really get in touch with yourself and tune with yourself and pay attention to the thoughts that are coming up. I know that that's a practice that I've been doing on a regular basis, and it is a game changer. I've had to literally denounce thoughts and say to myself, where did that come from? I don't believe you. Thank you for showing up and telling me what you want to tell me, but I release you now. I believe this. My faith is activated in this. My truth is this. This is what I desire. This is who I know I am. This is what God created me to be. So again, you are not stuck or stagnated. You are just simply overstimulated. And it is my hope for you that you will just take a moment to take a deep breath, recognize that you are not in a place that you're not supposed to be, that your journey is divine, and that you're being led and that you're being guided moment by moment, day by day, thought by thought, action by action. And bringing in a new year does not equal speed, but it does require some solitude and some clarity and some fine tuning so you can get clear about what it is that you want and that you can go forth and fulfill the things that you desire. I am Demi DeBatty, and I hope this message helped you. I really appreciate you joining me on this video, and if you want to connect, my email is below. I will be creating a few resources that can help with the decluttering of the mind, the resetting of your time, and getting to the bottom line. More to come. So thank you. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.